I've always been interested in snake venoms. My whole research career was involved in snake venoms, but really out of an act of desperation, treating my friend with cancer and realizing that this had such strong potential, that was the reason I started the company. Didn't want to let it go. I felt there was something to be offered to society.
Millscope Markets was basically a follow-on of Millscope. Millscope is a holding company that undertakes multiple different projects, pretty agnostic in what we undertake, but we had to find ways to finance those projects. And working with traditional financiers, we can never really find a system to get all the projects we want underway. So we had to develop our own systems, and we incorporated Millscope Markets so we could get our own product to market to fund these various projects that we're undertaking. We had to develop different structures to de-risk the project, take the risk away from the project itself, while giving comfort to the investors they're going to get a return on their money, and actually a good return on their money.
My name is Paul Reid. I am the CEO of Celtic Biotech. I'm also one of the founders. It started with the National Cancer Institute, NIH. They have a program for screening peptides against cancer cells, and I wanted them to screen those peptides for anti-cancer activity. And so they sent me the data, and one included the data from our current lead drug, CB24, also known as crowtoxin. Follow on from there, a friend of mine was diagnosed with terminal cancer. And having researched the project and spoken to numerous scientists where the research was done, they thought it was a really interesting molecule. So I actually provided it to him upon his request when he was diagnosed as terminal. Long story short, he's been cancer-free now for over 20 years. So we were able to use his experience to validate all the previous scientific data, and that's what motivated us to start the company. We have a great team. We have a Dr. Dorothy Bray, former head of GlaxoSmithKline's HIV drug research. She's a clinical trial expert. The reason we're in clinical trials is because of her expertise. We have several doctors on our scientific advisory board. Professor John Crown, a top-tier oncologist in Ireland. He did the original draft of our clinical trial. Professor David Kayat, who was actually a physician to the French president, he helped join us to guide our clinical trial. He does clinical trials for all the big pharmaceutical companies. Professor Zhenhong Qing, who actually is a professor at Suzhou University in China, and he's done numerous studies for us with our drug to kind of validate the scientific activity, the mechanisms and potential interactions with other drugs. And he called me one day because he had venoms and he knew I was interested in it, and we developed a relationship. We've been associates now for 25 years, and he's the backbone of effectively of our R&D group. So, and he's the highest published author in China. We have Dr. Marian and Dr. Miguel Delgado, who worked with Dr. Kayat on our clinical trial, and they were so impressed with the feature of the drugs, they asked to join our scientific advisory board. So we have people who actually have administered the drug to the patient. We do have a lab now in the United Kingdom. We have our snake colony in Kentucky. There is no doubt we can get this across the line. Nothing else matters. Not my ego, not anybody else's ego. It's get the job done, get the product onto the market, and even get a return on investment for people who've put their faith in us.